How's it going, bro? So, diving into chapter 6 of The Way of the Superior Man. This is titled Never Change Your Mind Just to Please a Woman. And I know for a fact that those watching it from the Red Paw community can be like, yes, yes, yes. And even, I don't even know if a misogynist community is a thing. Holy, that would be interesting. But say a misogynist community is a thing, then they'll also listen to the title of this video or the title of this chapter and be like, yes, that sounds good. But for me, it's about neither of those, and I know those into the Red Paw are going to be clicking away now and probably going to lose views, but I need to give you valuable advice rather than giving you the same old advice that you can find anywhere else on YouTube. And for me to explain this chapter properly, you need to have an understanding of sexual polarity. Some of you probably already have this understanding, but if you don't, think of it as a magnet. Say this is one magnet and this is another magnet. This here is the north pole of the magnet, magnet number 1, and this is the south pole of magnet number 2. The two get attracted to each other, opposites attract. Now view sexual polarity as the same thing. This pole is your masculine energy, this is your feminine energy. They attract each other. Now, bring this back to never change your mind to please a woman. The masculine energy, by definition almost, has this very direction-driven, sort of focused ambition. Flip side, the feminine energy has this free-flowing, has ability to switch between tasks and do it quite successfully. That's why they often say females are better at multitasking. It's exactly that. It's because the energy can be spread out more, whereas the masculine energy tends to be a bit more focused. So, in light of this, the masculine energy is typically better at directing energy into a good and fruitful end goal. So take the direction of your relationship now. Say, view it this way. As a man, even if you not fully aware of this, you probably do, and arguably, honestly, you should have a map of where you want to take your relationship. I really hope you actually do have a map of that. And you'd agree you need some steps to get to that end point or multiple points in your relationship. Now, as a masculine man, you should be directing it or your relationship to that point. Your woman might have some input, and here's the thing where I think the title of the chapter can be misleading to some. When she gives you her idea, listen to it and listen to it carefully, because she might have useful information to tell you. But don't change your idea just because she opposes yours. It is a matter of saying, okay, she has this idea, let me analyze it. See if it's useful, and by all means, if you prefer her idea to yours, listen to it. Go through with her plan. But if you still prefer your idea and after logically analyzing it without any bias, think your idea is the better one to lead the relationship or anything having to do with the relationship, then stick to your idea. Here's the thing. A lot of men like to give in and say, okay, I want to avoid conflict, and frankly, a lot of them don't have direction, and I'm going to sound like a mean person for saying this, but frankly, if you don't have direction, you need to work on that. It's going to help your relationship a lot. So anyway, it is a matter of, a lot of people will listen to this and say, okay, well, I'm going to follow my girl's advice because I want to avoid conflict. But here's the interesting thing about relationships. I've seen it, fortunately not in my own, but I've seen it in many relationships around me, and this is actually a topic that's studied in depth in a lot of the research I've read. If you give in to women's advice and you don't fully back it, you're weakening the relationship. And think about it. Say you do follow your advice and things go wrong. You're going to feel almost like you want to blame her. Because you said, I had this idea, I changed it because of you, and now it's wrong. But flip that scenario. Say now you follow your own advice, and it's still wrong, the outcome's the same. But you can at least sit back and say, hey, I've tried this, it doesn't work, I have myself to blame, but at least I can learn from it. At least then you take in the advice within, rather than deflecting it onto someone else. So, for me, it is a matter of, for the most part, following your own advice unless you do think, yeah, your girl has a lot of extra points that you didn't consider, or just generally better thought out advice, then yeah, by all means follow hers. The point of this chapter is not to say never listen to your girl or anything like that. It's rather listen to your girl, absorb her advice, but if you don't necessarily agree with it, stick to your own plan. Don't just give in to saying, okay, I want to make you happy. I think that's a very good way for me to sum up this chapter, actually. I'll see you in the next one, bro.